What's up, peeps? Julian Williams here with the Distance Guy prediction for you guys. This evening, this is the long-awaited prediction for Austin Trout versus Canelo Alvarez. Bout takes place tomorrow on Showtime for the WBA and WBC light middleweight championship. I'm going to sit welterweight there. So, overall, this fight is highly debated because really, now the question is going to be answered on whether or not Canelo is that good. Is he as good as the media puts him out to be, or is he just another media hype fighter? So now he's facing a fighter who has a lot of advantages over Canelo. He has a very good amateur pedigree. He has a good victory over a future Hall of Famer in Miguel Cotto, and he's bigger. He's naturally bigger and stronger. He's fully grown into his weight, into his body frame, compared to Canelo, who's I think he's 22 now, but he's still kind of growing. He doesn't have that man strength yet. He's not there yet, but Austin Trout already has it. So, and also according to Canelo, this fight is personal because he whooped his brother Rigoberto's ass 2 years ago. So overall, this fight's gonna be interesting to watch. Of course, Canelo has a lot of fights on his record, but if you look at his resume, the fighters on his resume were kind of on the decline. Carlos Baldomir, Shane Mosley. I think Jose Miguel Cotto was blown up. I think he was a lightweight 2 years before that fight, or a year before that fight. Josecito Lopez, if you look at that fight, you'll see how much smaller Josecito was. And then Ryan Rose was on the decline. Matthew Hatton wasn't a welterweight. Wasn't a light middleweight or super welterweight. So of course, there are a lot of gaps within his resume. Kermit Cintron on the decline, things of that nature. But if you really look at it, Canelo is a young fighter. He's still learning. He goes out, he fights. He just fights. As a professional, he's still trying to develop his craft. I believe he's still in development. Of course, out of all his victories, I think he has a win over Miguel Vasquez, which is a really good victory. Considering that he won that fight, when he was much younger. That's a good victory now, years later. It's one of those fights that stands out, years later, compared to, currently, standing out, So overall, I get it, so, but, and it's not, taking anything away from Canelo. I think Canelo is a good fighter. But I don't think he's been tested yet so we can know whether or not he's a great fighter, His career is too young for that right now. We don't know whether or not he's the sensation that that the media is putting him out to be. Now I'll give this to him. He goes in, he fights rounds. He's still learning as a professional. If you look at a lot of fighters that started their career young, if you look at a fighter like Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas, was a guy, he didn't get too many rounds early in his career. And then if you look on the flip side of that, sometimes going in and getting rounds isn't the best. Sometimes doesn't even mean you're all the way ready. David Reed's another guy. He got a lot of rounds from that same weight class. From that same Olympic class, got a lot of rounds, but he wasn't mentally prepared for adversity. So as good as they were, rounds, mean a lot. And Canelo has a hell of a lot more rounds than both of them, maybe more than both of them combined. At this point in their careers, but now he's facing a fighter who has a very good amateur pedigree, and Austin Trout. He has rounds himself. He's strong. He's intelligent. He knows how to set up his shots and set up his counters very well. And then he has a very nice convincing win over Miguel Cotto, a future Hall of Famer in my eyes. And maybe all of our eyes. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. Has a victory over him. And, a lot of people are going to say that Cotto was on the decline. Understandable. But just overall, the experience factor is going to play I think is going to be the important aspect in this fight. Because when you have an amateur background, then you're more then you learn little things on how to adapt. And you learn how to do and it's the small things that really help that you learn in the amateurs that can assist you in the pros, I believe. And some may very well disagree with me on that, and that's fine. So let's get into the fight. Let's get the logistics out the way, and let's get into breaking down this fight. Austin Trout is a southpaw fighter. He's kind of flat-footed, but he moves very well side to side. Laterally, he moves well laterally. He uses his jab as a range finder for his left hand. He counters with his left hand very well. He slaps down the jab with the right hand to set up his left very well. He moves and uses a little subtle movement with his shoulders and his legs to create to create a straight left hand. He throws a very good counter left hand. He throws a good overhand left. He isn't really too dominant with the right hand is in throwing a stiff jab and a hook. But I think the jab is going to be important in this fight. Because of course Canelo's going to walk straight in. He's going to walk straight in. He will put his hands up, and that jab is going to be, and he has to put that jab there. Also, Canelo backs straight out. He doesn't back out in any angle. So Austin tries to hit him with the left. He has to hit him with straight left hands. He backs out and puts his hands down and things of that nature. So he's going to have to utilize a lot of movement, and he's going to have to make Canelo chase after him. And then as he's chasing him, he has to hit him and time him. He has great timing with his left hand. The timing with the right, not so much, but with the left hand, very good timing. So, and also angles. Angles is going to be important. He's going to have to pivot his body. He's going to have to tie Canelo up early too, because Canelo likes to throw combinations. He likes to throw combinations. He'll pull off a 3-4 punch combination to the body, and especially if you're standing on the rope. So he's definitely going to have to hold Canelo. I mean, he's going to have to hold him. He's going to have to clinch him and make it an ugly fight. He's going to have to get his offense off. He's going to have to hit him with the straight left and hold him. That's going to prevent Canelo from getting any type of rhythm. As long as he clinches him and hits him and counters his jab. And consistently moves. So I think those will be the keys to victory for Austin No Doubt Trout. On the other hand, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, he's strong. He hits hard, and he has a lot of activity. He goes to the body. There's a lot of fighters out there that are very offensively dependent, but they're headhunters. Canelo mixes his shots up. He'll go to the body. He'll walk straight in. He'll walk in using his jab. Canelo's gonna have to fight behind the jab in this one. The jab is going to be important for Canelo. He's gonna have to fight with the jab. And the jab has to create everything for him. The jab's gonna have to create his body shots. The jab's gonna have to create his right hand shot. The main punch he's gonna have to land in this fight, and it's open against Austin Trout. The shot he's gonna have to land is the right hand. Of course, it's a southpaw kryptonite. But what I see with a lot of fights, because Canelo does have sharp hands. He does have sharp hands. Fighters are usually a second or two off from getting that straight right on Austin Trout, because he'll move out that direction. If Trout is standing in front of him, also, I'll go to his body. I would let my hands go in this fight. This is the fight where Canelo has to let his hands go. He's gonna have to remain active, and because Trout likes to stand on the outside and dictate the pace. If Canelo can jab his way in, jab his way out, and let his hands go, I think that we could see a decent Canelo fight. I think Canelo could win it as long as he remains active, as long as he has Trout respect his power early in the fight. Then I think that Canelo does have a chance of winning this fight. A very live chance of winning this fight. This fight, on paper, it can go either way. I've gotten into debates with folks at work. They don't like talking to me anyway about boxing because they really don't know much about it. But they like to debate everybody. Idiots. But like I said, both guys have a live chance of winning this one. The majority, I'm sure the majority is going with Canelo Alvarez. He's fierce. He's a star. I mean, he has a lot of fights, and he has a good. I mean, and he has a good work rate. He has a really good punch volume that he throws from. He's strong, powerful. He can, he could put you down. But in this circumstance, he's facing overall a different monster. He's facing a man in his prime, already grown to the weight, has a lot of experience, and I don't think he's gonna be a sitting duck like Lopez, Mosley, even Cintron and Carlos Baldomir. He's not gonna. He's too smart to be a sitting duck. He's gonna come out. He's gonna use his angles. He's gonna use them properly, and he's gonna try to keep this a slow paced fight as much as he can. So I'm going with Austin, no doubt Trout, and this fight by a split decision. So anyway, peeps, let me know what you think. That was the distance, and thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.